what's up? This is Dan from bodybuilderinthailand.com. This video is going to be about how I would do a Dianabol cycle. This video is for educational and entertainment purposes only. None of this is advice, and I don't promote doing anything or using anything talked about in this video. This is just talking about my personal experiences, so just don't do it. Alright, so how I would set up and run a Dbol Dianabol cycle is, first I'm going to start out with some testosterone. So, you know, people talk about steroids and sex drive a lot. You know what? A lot of people talk about the promotion of sex drive with steroids, and yeah, they do increase your sex drive at certain times, but then they also decrease your sex drive at certain times. I would say on average, my sex drive on roids is about the same as it is on natural, but my natural sex drive is more like this, and my sex drive on roids is more like this. It's not always just like, you know, always constant like that. You know, sometimes it's lower, sometimes it's higher than normal on gear. So Dbol, the first time I ran it, I did have some sex drive issues. I ran it with testosterone, but then the second time I ran it, you know, I ran it this time with testosterone again, but I also used Proviron this time. And so using Dbol in conjunction with Proviron actually made it so that Dbol pretty much just increased my sex drive instead of decreasing it. So there's that with the sex drive. Always, for me, I always now would include Proviron, and I use 25 milligrams of Proviron per day with whatever dosage of Dbol I used, and that would be for sex drive. I know a lot of people say the opposite, and a lot of people will say, when they hear what I just said about Dbol and sex drive, they'll be like, what? No, that's not what Dbol does. Well, chances are the people that say that are going to be people that have never used steroids, but they've read forums. Alright, so you can disregard them. So with the Dbol cycle, I'm going to, you know, it depends, the dosage I'm going to use is going to depend on, you know, how long it is. If I'm using it for a short duration of time, let's say 4 weeks, which really isn't going to do much, by the way, guys. It's not long enough for you to get gains from Dbol that are going to stick. However, it will make you appear a lot bigger while you're on it. So I would use 50 milligrams per day if I was going to run it for 4 weeks. Maybe 5 weeks as well. I would use 50 milligrams per day. And I would take one of those when I woke up, and I would take the other one pre-workout if I had 25 milligram tablets. Or that's probably what I would normally do, even if I didn't have 25 milligram tablets. What I've used before is 5 milligram tablets, and when I used the 5 milligram tablets, you know, I'd take one when I woke up. No, I'd usually take more than one when I woke up. I'd take like 3 when I woke up. I'd take like, you know, like 5 when pre-workout, which would be 25 milligrams. And then after my workout, I'd take like another like 2 or maybe another 3. And then that would be like 50 milligrams, 55 milligrams or something on the day. And that was how I used it back then. So the half-life of Dbol is only 3 to 4 hours before it's reduced to half the concentration that it was when you took it. So if you take 50 milligrams of Dbol, 3 to 4 hours later, there's only 25 milligrams left in your system. And then 3 to 4 hours after that, so a total of 8 hours later, now there's only 12.5 milligrams in your system. 8 hours later. So you can see how if you only take it once a day, it's really not enough. Like, it will definitely make effects taking it once a day, but it's not going to be as good as taking it, you know, at least divide it into 2 dosages. I think that's reasonable. You could do one in the morning when you wake up, and then, you know, another dosage pre-workout. Those would be the best times that I would take the Dbol. So there's that. That's for a 4 to 5 week cycle. That's the dosage. I would take 50 milligrams. As for a longer cycle, which is where I think that Dbol works better, it's really strong. It really builds muscle well, right? Because it really promotes a lot of strength. It makes you get big, so your leverages get better, because when your muscles grow, you have better leverages, you know, better angles for your bones, like your arms and shit, to pull on. So there's that. It makes you, and then it also makes you stronger because it loads your muscles with energy and with water as well, which also makes them stronger. So it does that. And then as well with that is it's super anabolic. It's basically like testosterone that has been modified a bit, made orally available, and then just put fucking NOS on it or something. That's like what Dbol is. It's a lot like testosterone, except it's like testosterone on NOS. It's fucking crazy bodybuilding shit. It's very, very good hormone for bodybuilding. And I don't need much of it though. You know, I really don't need much of it. I can use a lot of it, and it'll give a crazy cosmetic effect. Well, it'll look way bigger while I'm using that higher dose, but that will make me really tired. You know, if I used 50 milligrams for more than 4 to 5 weeks, I'd get really tired. And, you know, that's I can't be having that, because when I'm tired, it makes me not want to do my workouts, makes me lazy, makes me not want to do cardio. It's just, I'm not doing that. So, even though 20 milligrams may seem low, it's actually a really strong bodybuilding hormone. Like, it's really good hormone for bodybuilding. And for most people, if you take, well, if I took 20 milligrams of Dbol per day for 8 to 10 weeks, that would put a considerable amount of, you know, like body composition changing power in me. You know, I could increase muscle mass, I could decrease fat mass. You know, I could do a lot of things with 20 milligrams of Dbol spaced over 8 to 10 weeks. And here's another thing: is a lot of people, you know, that, you know, haven't really used steroids often, or are gonna, you know, hear me say that 8 to 10 weeks Dbol, and their eyes are gonna pop out of their head, and they're gonna say, "You're going to kill yourself. You're going to fall over dead." Shit, just crazy shit like this, guys. You know, this hormone's been around since the late 50s, Dbol, and people have abused the shit out of this drug in sports. It's the most famous steroid ever, and it's the most commonly available one ever. And Arnold Schwarzenegger's favorite, you know, and so, you know, from personal experience, I know that, you know, if I take Dbol for 8 to 10 weeks, I'm not going to shit my insides out. So for me, that works. And yeah, that's what I would do. I'd do the lower dosage so that I wouldn't get toxic, I wouldn't get tired or lethargic, and I'd run that for 8 to 10 weeks. And then, you know, if I wanted to gain real muscle, you know, I could do that, you know, and I wouldn't piss out the Dbol muscle gains when I stopped taking it. So along with that, I would take some testosterone, obviously. I always like to take a bit of testosterone. You know, for this, I could take anywhere between, you know, 250 milligrams per week up to, like, I guess 500 milligrams per week. And honestly, I'd probably run 250 is fine. Yeah, I'd probably run like 250 to 350 milligrams of testosterone per week with the testosterone if I was running it, or with the Dbol if I was running the short high dose cycle of Dbol. But if I was running the lower dose, like 20 to 30 milligrams for 8 to 10 weeks of Dbol, then I would run the testosterone up at a higher dosage. I'd run it at like probably 500 to 750 milligrams per week. That would be the dosage that I'd run the testosterone at. For the longer cycle of Dbol with the shorter, with the lower dosage. And then, as well with that, I'd run the Proviron, right? And that would be for my sex drive, and that would also help create more free testosterone. So testosterone gets bound up in the blood by sex hormone binding globulin, and when you use Proviron, that testosterone that's bounded up in the blood by the SHBG, sex hormone binding globulin, the Proviron actually attaches to the sex hormone binding globulin, SHBG, and then the testosterone, it becomes free, and then it can be active again in the system. It's not bound by that globulin anymore. So I would that's another, in addition to the sex drive, that's another benefit of using the Proviron. And then in addition to that, okay, so now I have to use an anti-estrogen, and I mean, basically with those things, the testosterone, the Dianabol, the Proviron, and the anti-estrogen, those would be the things that I would need for my Dbol cycle. Those would be, so I guess it's testosterone, Dianabol, Proviron, anti-estrogen. Yeah, so I'd only need four items for the cycle, you know, not including a post-cycle therapy or whatever. So that's how many items I would need for the cycle. And what I would do with the anti-estrogen is I have to use letrozole if I use Dbol. I tried to use exemestane before, and I was taking over, for the 50 milligrams Dbol, I was taking over 50 milligrams of exemestane per day. And I was still having estrogen problems. It's like an estrogen bomb for me. Like, it aromatizes like a motherfucker. And I'm already pretty sensitive to aromatase. Like, if I run high testosterone or Dbol or whatever, I will get estrogenic side effects if I don't, you know, use a good dose of an anti-estrogen. But Dbol, it's just like the other ones, you know, higher testosterone, whatever, you know, I can use it, you know, and I can take like Aromacin or Remidex or whatever, you know, at a higher dosage. But as soon as Dbol's introduced, it doesn't even matter what dose of Dbol I'm using. If I don't have letrozole, I'm fucked. That shit aromatizes like fucking crazy. And so I have to use letrozole. Literally, letrozole is an essential part of the cycle for me. And, you know, I would use the letrozole as necessary, which would probably come out to like 2 tablets per week, you know, like a half tablet 3 or 4 times a week or something. Like if I was using Dbol at 50 milligrams, yeah. But if I was using it at the lower dosage, maybe then it would be like 1.5 tablets a week, spaced out 3 times per week, you know. So that's, you know, the letrozole would be an absolute must for me because, you know, I have small nipples and no gynecomastia, and that's because of taking care of, you know, estrogen, progesterone, prolactin during my whole time of using gear. And, you know, I definitely plan to make it stay that way, and there's no reason for it not to go that way unless I do something totally fucking stupid. So, yeah, that's why I'll be using letrozole if I, you know, if I ever use Dianabol, and that's what I've used in the past. Although I have used it with other shit and had big problems. Like I said, I was using 50 milligrams of Exemestane per day with the 50 milligrams of Dbol. So, alright guys, this is that's how I would run a Dbol cycle. Run it for 8 to 10 weeks, probably run the testosterone for another week or 2, and then cut it. And then, obviously, if you're gonna not cruise on a TRT or something, then you would do a PCT. So, this has all been for educational and entertainment purposes. I was just sharing my experiences with you guys, and I do not promote the use of these substances, and I encourage you not to use them. I promote you to not use them. I do not advocate doing anything discussed about in this video. If you guys like the video and you want more like this, please subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys next time. Dan from Bodybuilder in Thailand.com, the truth in bodybuilding.